Videos are powerful. You're watching me right now in a video on TSE TV. Videos help you to be able to understand the context a little bit more. You can see the individual, you can understand their expression, you can hear them, you can connect with them in a more powerful way, more so than you could from a text email or text message. Now imagine if you can utilize that in your lead gen process. We're going to give you some ideas today. My friend Sean is going to lay it out how his tool and how his company are helping others like you to generate more leads through videos. That's some good stuff right there. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another great episode of the Sales Evangelist Podcast. I'm your host, Donald Kelly, the Sales Evangelist. And I'm so excited for another great episode. I'm so excited to be here with you today. And on this episode, as I mentioned in the teaser, we're going to talk about videos and specifically how you can utilize videos to help you generate more leads. We have Sean Gordon coming on the show, and Sean is the CEO of a company that's called VidReach. Now, these guys have pioneered and worked a lot with videos over the years, and they're seeing some really good traction. And I mean, I cannot express enough to you how powerful videos are. Speaking about videos, you're watching me here on TSE TV. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and hit subscribe, that little red button at the bottom. If you can hit that, that'll be greatly appreciated. Also, hit the chime button so whenever we have a new episode, you can be notified, and we'd love for you to check it out. But today, Sean's going to lay out what he has done and how he recommends you take advantage of videos and how videos can help you with the lead generation process. Whether you're the CEO or the sales rep or the marketing director, this stuff will help you today. Let's go ahead and dive into the episode. Welcome to the show, Sean.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Of course, man. I was bragging about you in the teaser there and talking about how I am a big fan of video and some of the great things that you guys are doing with video. But I don't want to steal all your thunder, so I want to give you an opportunity to at least shine a little bit. So why don't you tell us a little bit more about you and what you do, man?
Well, I'm originally from Connecticut, so go Huskies. But I've been down in Atlanta for a long time, and I started my career out in mostly around sales. Started with AT&T and kind of, started as what they call hunter sales rep, going out, banging on doors, trying to get people to switch back from, Verizon and all the other slew of telecom carriers out there. And then worked my way up to manager. And then AT&T bought McGaw Cellular, which was Cellular One, which is what everyone knows as AT&T Wireless now. So
yeah,
they wanted to, they sent me out to Seattle because that's where they were headquartered. And we assimilated them underneath, kind of the AT&T brand. Mm-hmm. And then, so that was great. And then I worked for EMC for a while. That's now EMC Dell and Home Depot and startup IP accounts back then. And then went to a company called West Corporation, but really it was Intercall. It was headquartered here in West Point, Georgia. This guy named Cam Lanier started it with, not too much. And they built it to, pretty big. And then they sold it to West Corporation. I was with them for about 10 years as the vice president of sales. And that was a pretty good run. We went from about 60 or 70 million to over 1.2 billion in revenue. So yeah, it was a pretty good run. And then I got recruited as a CEO for a company here in Atlanta that's been around for about 30 years. And we had to turn that around and added some different sales enablement technologies to it. And then the same guy, Cam Lanier, who started companies like MindSpring that became Earthlink and Headhunter.net that became Career Builder, and the list goes on. Telecom USA was the fourth largest telecom company that got bought by MCI, Verizon, for over a few $1 billion. So he's had a great run, and he had backed Intercall, and then he backed me in this whole video technology called VidReach, and that's kind of my story in a nutshell. And we've been doing it for a little over 3 years, but really started focusing on it the last year and a half. Have been humbled by the great success that we've had and the customers that are really taking advantage of it to get people interested in their services.
So I can tell you work with a lot of small companies, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it's both. I mean, it's funny because we've got several Fortune 500 companies that are here that it was kind of built for the enterprise. There's a lot of solutions out there, video solutions that are what I would call point solutions. Mm-hmm. But in the enterprise world, the small businesses want to take advantage just like big companies can. So there's a lot of features and security, scalability, reliability. Those factors were really important to us when we were thinking about how we wanted to go to market, so that whether you're a large Fortune 500 company or a small SMB, you could still take advantage of it and not break the bank on the budget.
Yeah. No, I mean, I was definitely, it's a being facetious there a little bit, man, because I see that you bring a lot of great experience to the table. And also just like the simple fact, man, like the tools and the companies you guys are working with is helping people stand out a lot. If you, anyone want to learn about this and go check it out, I would recommend to go to your website, but you guys have some great experience and great success. So, man, it's awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. We got a great team. Great team from the start on the crazy ride of a startup, but they've really kind of honed in, and they just they really bring it every day.
So I want to give you, and you sound like a good team lead, anyways. Look at you giving credit back to the team. so, so I want to pick your brain for a little bit because I'm a big fan of video. I feel that we're on video right now. We're using this in the sense of giving people another opportunity to get a chance to see us and to hear us. But why is video working so well right now for sales that you guys created another software around it?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, I think, video was a buzzword even, 20 years ago when I was kind of starting out my career. And, everyone knew that video was important, and you had companies like Polycom and, they got bought by Cisco, but I mean, everyone wanted to do it. But the problem was the quality, reliability, and the type of technology that you needed to get the bandwidth through just wasn't there for everyday use. And, you talk about, bring your own device was a big topic in the 2000 to 2010, and anywhere, any distance. And as technology evolved, and as people started realizing that wait a minute, video is something that is a huge a bridge to really personalizing and getting your message across. And you fast forward over the last 5 years, they're projecting. I think Forbes was projecting in 2022 that 85% or 82 to 85% of all content that's actually looked at is going to be through video. And we've seen a big resurgence because, now people, they're mobile, right? You look at things like, TikTok, and, everyone wants to, to get on video. And whether you're older or younger, video is it's much faster. A 30-second video replaces like over 500 typewritten words. So it's really something. I think technology, being able to get across to anywhere, any device, any distance, and also really streamlining and personalizing your message has led to a big drive. And I don't think they're going to go back anytime soon.
No way, man. And especially right now in the climate we're recording this particular episode, maybe when you're listening to this, it's post the coronavirus, but I feel that people want to get that human to human connection even more so that I'm stuck at home, and we're connected already, used to it through Zoom. So now you're telling me I'm having all this Zoom meeting and then all of a sudden jumping off and I'm going to read a text email as opposed to a sales rep who send a video email. That sales rep, I think, has a higher chance of having that human connection and driving my reaction as opposed to nothing. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. You couldn't be more on the point. And honestly, Donald, when you look at what, every sale in the 20-year career that I've had, I mean, it all starts with a conversation, and with time being so limited. And, MarTech took off like 8 or 9 years ago, and there was some good automation and good workflows that were built. And you saw a big, consolidation in that marketplace with, ExactTarget that bought Pardot. That was an Atlanta-based company. And then they got bought by Salesforce. And then, you look at Eloqua that got bought by Oracle. So the marketing email was a big resurgence about 10 years ago. And then from 2010 to 2015, we saw kind of a consolidation. But what's happened is people started getting email paralysis. I mean, they just, there's so many emails coming at them every day. And it got to the point where they took the personalization, that human connection out. And so right around that time, I started thinking, wouldn't it be cool? Because from a business development standpoint, especially for SaaS companies, but we've got consumer companies, the cool thing about our technology, it's really agnostic. I mean, if you've got people if you have salespeople, whether they're strategic or they're at the lower market, they're all trying to create that connection from scratch. And doing that out of thin air is not easy. And all the marketing emails in the world, unless you've got a really solid pitch or you're a big brand name, you've really got to stand out. So the personalized video approach, because technology and it's simple to use, it's plug and play, there's not a long implementation process, it's secure and reliable. That human connection really leads to, more conversations that lead to more appointments and ultimately more closed deals.
So now, being transparent with you, we've had more people on this on our podcast from different with different experiences, folks, different video platforms like Vidyard. We've had folks from BombBomb, CoVideo. Folks are using Loom. what is it that separate you guys from many of these other platforms, or what is that secret sauce that you guys offer that may help a seller who is trying to use video, or even a company?
Yeah, and you know what? Certainly, and I'm a sales guy for 20 plus years. I'll never bash the competition.
Yeah.
And more importantly, I think that those are great companies that you mentioned. Some of them in startup phases, and some of them have been around for a while and got good VC money. So they're really good companies. I think there's a different niche for each of them. I think what makes us a little bit different from the competition, not to name any particular one, because they're all great in their own right. But I think the reason why people go with us is because they kind of have that enterprise feel. We've got things called workflow that's, essentially it's in on the almost a little bit of artificial intelligence. And not to say that AI is a big buzzword right now, but if you think about it, if you cast out a big net right now to 1,000 people, you're kind of just shooting in the dark, right?
Yeah.
And so you're really trying to get a personal connection with a targeted message on what the financial, operational, and business benefits are, on what you do and why they should meet with you, whether it's through LinkedIn, whether it's through email, traditional email, whether it's through Messenger, social, whatever platform you're trying to get them at. You've got to be really pointed. In these workflows, our system allows you to figure out, if you throw out 1,000 of them, we're going to tell you the higher probability than not that these 100 are the ones that you should be calling based on not just email, because a lot of times, people think we're just video, but we're a full-blown email system as well. But it takes an average of 7 to 12 touches to get somebody interested. And most sales reps out there, in my 20 years experience, they don't want to do the nitty-gritty follow-up. They'll tell their boss on a Friday that they called and left a message and it's looking good, but they'll kind of give up after a couple of times and focus in on their deals. And I think what we did in a personalized manner, because it comes directly from the person's email, it's them doing it, it's whether it's video or the email follow-up, it allows them in a logical fashion to have a cadence or a workflow that does the follow-up for them while they're closing deals, but it's personalized, so it's not just interacting with them, sending the same random email every 3 days that drives people crazy. Does that make sense?
Oh, it does, because I feel when I joke with people sometimes that I know when I get a cold outreach email, I'm like, here you go. I'm going to give it 2-3 days before I get the client success email. Or after that, here we go. We're going to get a testimonial. Or after this one, all right, now it's time for the breakup email. So I know the play before, the quarterback called the play, because it's what many people are doing. So the fact that you mentioned this personalization and the workflow, it intrigues me. So, but I want to go a little bit deeper in that. Let's talk about that, because you have the marketing side and the sales. Like, how does that? Give me an example of how that could work. If I'm a company you're trying to get in touch with, I'm, let's say, the CRO at a enterprise organization you guys are trying to get. How would that look like in your playbook?
Well, I think in the first place, some of the things that are important is good chief revenue officers, at least the best ones out there, and they're good and bad ones. But the ones that really understand it, they understand their metrics really well. So they understand that if I do, and I'll just use round, simple numbers. I don't want to mention any of the large Fortune 500 that we do business with here, because I don't know that would be appropriate. But let's just say you are a large telecommunications company.
Yeah.
And, every rep, they've got, we'll just say that they do, 10 appointments a month. And they've got 10 reps on a team. So they do 100 appointments a month. And out of those 100 appointments, they get 50 people that are interested. And out of those 50, 25 of them go to a proposal stage. And the 25 go down to, who's interested. And out of those 25, a rep might have a close ratio of about 50%. So maybe they're closing around 12.5 deals a month. And then whatever their average revenue is, that guy, that chief revenue officer, they understand, at least the good ones, they understand the metrics. They understand the predictable revenue model, how they're going to drive it. And so the question comes down to is, well, how do we maximize that without just sending out a ton of emails, which traditionally that's what marketing does, and they just send out 300,000 or 400,000 emails. Our system's a little different because it's coming directly from the rep, and it can go from marketing. And whether you're really video-centric or you are email-centric, we've had some big, we have a large tissue and paper plate company. I won't mention their name, but they do a lot of stuff in that industry. And some of their sales reps are over 50 years old. And they were not, they picked, when they did the pilot with us a couple of years ago, they actually picked the 10 people that did not want to do video. And now they're our biggest proponent and our biggest users, because they see the difference of bringing their personality to life. But they load it into our workflow system. It's already pre-built for them. So the 20 years of IP that that we've had as a team went into what's the most effective way to maximize the appointment. So if they don't know a lot about it, or they haven't really been successful at it before, the good news is plug and play with us. You can literally load your contacts in with their first name, last name, and email, and create a video, or just do an email template or a combination of both, and away you go. And then what it does is every day or every 2 days, if you're a longer sales cycle person and you want to really nurture the relationships, it can go out over 3 or 4 months and then automatically go to another workflow. So that's not what you said earlier, where it's the same old, here comes the other email follow-up now, or the breakup email. You already know that you've interacted with them, and you can track what they did, how long they watched the video, how long they opened the email, whatever it might be, does that make the video email. And so by using those analytics, they can really try to use the same predictability that they do on their business right now, and try to figure out how they can get 20, 30, 40, up to 50% more views, or more sometimes, actually. I mean, we eat our own dog food, and by incorporating video when we tripled our appointments output just by adding the personalized video into a logical workflow and sequence, if that makes sense.
Man, that's amazing, man. Congratulations. And I do agree with you with that, with the chief revenue officers that are able to focus on those data. Obviously, the ones who are paying attention to that stuff is going to see a much better result. I'm curious to ask, as far as when you guys are sending out your videos, are you on your first email outreach, are you using video on that one, or are you using text, or what have you seen to be the most effective?
Yeah, so we do both. It's got the full-blown traditional MarTech stuff, even though we're not MarTech, but it's got the capabilities of the A/B testing. So we typically will start with a video, though, because right off the bat, and it's the format that makes a difference too, because anyone can send a video. So, for example, a chief revenue officer, not to stay on that point, but if they've been around for a while, they've got messages that they know are working. So, one of the things I used to do was I used to take the underperforming offices, whether they were in California or Dallas, and try to duplicate the model that we had in the Southeast to try to get those offices performing well. Well, some office might have someone that's below plan, but that office is using that person as their guide or their benchmark on how well that, because they're comparing themselves to the wrong messaging. So with our system, we added what's called a teleprompter script, just like you see in the president or, in politics, where, they've got a teleprompter script that's right there. So the VP of sales or the VP of marketing or the sales manager, they can tweak the messages that are working across the country and make sure that everyone's saying off the same script, so that now they can duplicate that success, whether you're an underperforming office in Seattle and you want to have the same results that you're having in Dallas, for example. Yeah. And so by standardizing those messages, it really kind of stands out. And the video is definitely the best icebreaker, because they can check out and see that you're a real person with a signature and an address and a LinkedIn. And so they kind of know, because in the beginning, one of the biggest objections we got was, I'm not going to download anything if I don't know somebody. But now it's a little bit different, because you can tell the difference between a spam email versus that, one that's pretty legit.
Yeah, because now with it, is it like yours is like some of the other ones where it's like a GIF that sits on top of the email, so when they click on it, it goes to open up the video?
Yeah, I mean, we have the capability to do the GIF, but we stayed away from that, because that was something that we felt was actually a little bit more, especially for the types of business that we do business with. They have the option if they want to do something like that. Yeah. But we actually think of our videos are not really a video in the email, which is how we were able to, really make it secure and reliable. It's just another character. So it's more like a wallpaper, if that makes sense. You can click on it, it's clickable. It's just a hyperlink behind it. But exactly. It allows you to pick the thumbnail that you want to go into it. And we made it a certain size, and we made it so it was Google and Microsoft certified and approved, so that people would avoid going to spam. We put a lot of email filters into our the back end side, and obviously we're powered by AWS. So there's a lot of technology, and our CTO actually deserves a lot of credit. Yeah. And his development team, because they really built out millions of lines of code over the last couple of years to make sure it was secure, reliable, scalable for, not only large enterprise, but, SMB and mid-market as well.
Man, amazing. I got a question now, as far as when it comes towards video, what are some of the effective messaging or the format when we're using videos? Do I use say the same exact thing I would say in the email, like, hey, Sean, this is Donald with TSE. and then go into my pitch? Or what are some of the things you're seeing that helps to hone in on an effective video?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I mean, and look, by the way, everyone's different. You know, there are some more progressive companies that are, you mentioned the breakup email, so clearly, clearly you know what you're talking about. There are people that follow that type of format, and that's okay. There are some people that just want to be more personalized and give that raw, authentic. In fact, we say sometimes if the videos are a little bit flawed, they're a little bit more prone to be open because they know that you're a real person, as opposed to, you know, some script where it's like, you know, or a video or whatever, where it's not really the person that works for the company. But, you know, the standard best practices are, you know, make sure that you're, you know, even from things of lighting. Like, for example, I'm looking to you at Zoom right now. I've got a little bit of a raised area for my computer, because you don't want to have it down and looking down into the camera. You want to have it eye level like we're doing right now.
Yeah.
You want to make sure you have good lighting. You want to make sure you've got a background that wants to be seen. Although we are coming out, and I'll hot off the press, I'll let you know this. We're actually coming out with an anywhere virtual background that'll allow you to do that. And you can edit and do a lot of those things right now, but this is going to allow you just to drop down and either do something that you've downloaded from the internet, or you'll have standard ones to choose from for us.
Yeah.
But your background's got to be good. And you know this with what you do. But you've got to make sure you've got good audio. You've got to make sure you've got good video quality, so that when you're doing these things, and you can do them. I mean, the iPhones nowadays, I've got an iPhone 11. I mean, the camera quality is just insane.
Oh, mind blowing.
So, you know, those are some of the things. And then it's like, you know, write out a script, use our teleprompter script that is just saves you a ton of time. You can do 1 take or 2 takes instead of trying to start over from scratch. Like 2 years ago, it used to take me 30 minutes to perfect one. Knock one out in 30 seconds. But, you know, prepare what it is you're going to say. Make sure that you're being relevant to what they care about, who your target audience is, and, you know, what the financial, operational, and business benefits. Why should they talk to you? Well, what are the last 3 customers? What were the reasons why they bought for you? Make sure you hit upon those things very succinctly, and don't go over 30 to 45 seconds. You know, the whole defeating the whole purpose. If you do a video that's going to be over a minute and they see it's a minute, they might delete it. But if they see it's only 30 seconds, they're more prone to listen to you. 30 to 45 seconds tops is what we recommend, unless you had a relationship with them before. And then just being targeted, you know, bringing the whole personalization back to that person that you're talking to. Yeah. What's important to them, their industry, you know, their title, what are their challenges, and how are you fixing that and duplicating that with other similar people like them on how we brought success to them, whether it was more opens, more clicks, warm-ups, deals closed, whatever it might be. Just make sure you're specific to that person. And then, you know, it's really not that. And the cool thing is you can do it directly from our mobile app as well. So you can on the fly.
You know, and I think one of I've said this a lot on a podcast recently, Sean, is that when I feel that COVID is going to be the almost like the Darwin theory, in a sense, where it's going to make those people who can survive the challenging times be the survival of the fittest, really, because the people who are going to continue with the same old outreach message, the ones who are doing the same old type of into the old school selling methods, those are the sales reps that are going to have the biggest challenge. But the sales reps who are coming in, who are finding unique ways to bring value, who are personalizing their outreach, are going to have a much better shot. Because if you're using the same outdated and also tone deaf messages that you used prior to COVID, I think you're not going to survive at all. It just won't work.
Yeah, you know, and there's a lot to that. And you know, you're a lot younger than me, but you know, 20 years ago, when we first started out Intercall, it was turned into the largest conferencing company in the world over the 10-year run that I was there. They were bigger than AT&T. Yeah. But during the growing years, if you remember, 9/11 happened, and that really kind of changed travel for a while. So people were more. There was this thing called web conferencing, which, you know, the guy Eric that started Zoom, he was a WebEx guy for a long time. And we used to integrate our audio into their WebEx. But the parallel that you're making is smart, because if you look at what we did back then, our whole thing was you're never going to replace face-to-face, but the next best thing is going to be, you know, we're on a Zoom chat right now, but this web conferencing really started taking off around 2002, 2003, 4, 5, and 6, and now it's a standard, you know, method of operation, or MO. But if you look at video, email, or video outreach, or personalized messages, you know, we already were seeing a lot of traction and people kind of jumping on that bandwagon prior. So we weren't too early. There was an established industry, but it certainly wasn't there where everyone had heard of it.
Yeah.
And now you fast forward, the pandemic has certainly been something that, you know, and I hate that it's because of that, but there's no doubt that that was a shot in the arm in terms of an influx of people being more willing to do it, because they've got to, and forget about video email, whatever's out there that's going to lead to more conversations and more, you know, outreach and personalization, because you've got a captive audience. But now people are trying to figure out, okay, I can't do it. You know, I think they were saying that virtual working from home before the pandemic, I think was like 3.8%.
Yeah.
And now that what they're saying is that after this thing, it's going to be like between 30 and 40% of companies are saying, wait a minute, we're not going to even go back to the office now. Remote is, you know, in some industries as productive, but I do feel for the industries that have been hit certainly hard. And I know everyone says that as the line, but we're just fortunate that our type of industry is a little bit relevant, whether you're in an office or not in an office, because it's anywhere, any distance, anytime, anywhere type of communication, where if you can record a video, you can use our product. But does that make sense?
Oh, it does, man. It does 100%. And you're right. And I feel that many companies, I think I heard some crazy number, like it was 60% of people that are working right now remote from, you know, companies, as opposed to, like you're saying, that 3, 4 or whatever it was, like 10, less than 10% that they would have their sales or the team members. It wasn't even just sales, but it's just really fascinating. Time's evolving. You got to evolve with it. But if there's one major takeaway, one major piece of advice you want folks listening to this episode to walk away with, what's that advice, Sean?
I think at the end of the day, activity always yields results, and you know, it's honing in on what that activity is, having a clear, concise message. And if you're afraid of video, which some people are, or they're like, you know, one of the things we've gotten, we don't have a face, we have a face for radio. I laugh at that all the time, because I'm like, look, you know what? It's not about that. It's about, you know, really personalizing your message. It can still be professional, and you can standardize it and have the controls and security in place that you make sure that the messaging is standardized and out there. But, you know, activity yields results, and work smarter, not harder. You know, there's easy technology. Everybody uses smartphones. Everybody uses their laptop. You know, everyone's checking their email, you know, remotely or mobilely. So, you know, come up with a clear, concise message. Just pick the last 2 or 3 customers, whether you use us or somebody else. But, you know, figure out the last 2 or 3 customers that bought for you and why, and then put that into a little script. We also have a managed service, professional service that helps with that as well. And I think our client success, everyone says this, but our, you know, Fortune 500 clients and even our smaller clients, I mean, rave about, you know, our CS process, because it's not a sign up on a website and you're on your own to figure it out. I mean, we certainly have a small, you know, individual user model that's like that. But when you sign up on the enterprise with us, you know, our CS team will help you with all that kind of stuff. So if you can do that, and you can take, you know, a couple hours to come up with that, you can record a video and see how it goes. And like I said, whether it's us or somebody else, you know, we think we're better, faster, cheaper than everyone else. But, you know, at the end of the day, you know, whether it's us or somebody else, don't be afraid of it. Embrace it and give it a shot. And, you know, give yourself 30, 60, 90 days to see what the results are compared to what you're doing right now. You know, not to over answer this, but I was talking to a really good COO at a pretty big BPO company, and we were talking about what he was doing, and he was kind of going back and forth on it. Wasn't sure if his team was ready for it. I said, look, what are you going to do if you don't do this? So if you don't do this, what processes do you have right now in place that are going to maximize the ultimate number of opens and clicks and conversations that this is going to lead to compared to what you're doing right now? And once he realized that, he's like, well, why not just try it for 90 days and see what happens? And, you know, in this case, thank goodness it resulted in, you know, a lot of good conversations for him. So don't be afraid of it. It would be my number one big advice.
Awesome, man. Well, Sean, if folks want to get in touch with you, what's the best way for them to go about doing so?
Yeah. So, I mean, look, they're welcome to go to our website. If they don't want to, you know, pick up the phone and call us, they certainly can do that too. But they can fill out a form and, you know, obviously if they want to talk to me directly, I try to talk to at least, you know, 10 customers a month, sometimes a little bit more, because 99% of what we build on our platform actually comes from customer feedback. Because that way we know they're going to use it and they want it. And if they have that problem, someone else will. So they can fill out the form on the website. I see all of those. Regardless, I can't keep up with all of them sometimes, but I can see them. But they can fill out a contact me form at their convenience, or we'll set up a time that's convenient for them, you know, to show them the platform. It usually takes about 20 to 25 minutes to do a quick demo overview to see if they're going to, you know, be a good fit for it or not. And we're not a fit for everybody, but there's certainly a lot of people out there that are interested in trying to get more opens and clicks and more conversations. So they're welcome to do that, or they can call us on our number on our website or whatever works for them.
Hey, man, thank you so much for taking the time to come on the show today, Sean. We appreciate you and appreciate your wisdom.
Oh, listen, it's my pleasure. Humbled to be on, and I appreciate you taking the time to listen to that old sales guy, talk about some of the stuff going on in 2020 and beyond.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes. Thank you so much, Sean, for coming on the show. And I appreciate you watching us and listening to this episode. If you're listening on TSE TV or watching us on TSE TV, you know the power of videos already. So I ask you to go ahead and hit subscribe. If you haven't ever gone to TSE TV on YouTube, go ahead and do so. Just go search Donald Kelly or the Sales Evangelist. You'll see us, subscribe, and you get a chance to get our videos and get a chance to connect with me a little bit further in the process. Greatly appreciate you. Greatly appreciate Sean coming today. And if you want to connect with him and some of the great things his company is doing and how these things can help you and your team, just go down to the show notes. You can find all the details on our website, or you can go to TSE Studios, or you can just simply scroll. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, click on the cover art and you'll see all the information there. Watching us on TSE TV here on YouTube, you can just also click on the links down below. I do this because we want to help you. We want you to succeed. Sean's a great guy. His company's doing some fantastic things. And if I can help you understand how these tools can help take your sales to a whole nother level, listen, I want to do so. My goal is always to do the simple thing. Let me tell you what that is. Help you to find more of those ideal customers, help you to build stronger value in your conversation, help you to close more deals. But most importantly, it's to challenge you each and every single day to go out and do big things. Hey, thanks so much for taking the time to watch this video today. If you enjoyed the content, I ask you to go ahead and hit that like button, that thumbs up in the bottom right-hand corner. Also, to make sure to subscribe if you haven't done so already. This way, we'll keep you up to date with all the latest sales strategies, latest tools, and things that are going to help you to not only find more prospects, but to close more deals. Thanks so much.